Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the setup for my new bullet journal. I got a new one about a year ago and I obviously use it up in about a year, which I feel like is pretty common for bullet journals to use about one a year. I kind of want to make this one last a little bit longer just because I don't know, don't love spending all that money on a new journal every year, so anyway, I'm going to try to make this one last longer, but it is this beautiful I don't know, lemon yellow. I feel like it's like a really pastel yellow color. It is the brand, oh my gosh, I do not know how to pronounce that. Leuchtturm? This brand right here. I do not know how to pronounce that. Yeah, it is clearly a different language because maybe German or something because on the thank you thing at the bottom, it's not English is the second one, so it's not an English brand or whatever. But this is the paper 80, maybe is the size of it. It's 145 by 210 millimeters. Oh, it's medium, I guess. The medium size of their journals. It's medium size. I'm thinking this is an A5 paper size, but I don't actually know anything really about paper or anything like that. I've talked for enough time. We are now going to get into the setup of this journal. Alright, so let's get into it. So the date I bought this bullet journal was May 2022. The date I recorded me drawing in this journal was probably sometime in June 2022. Then I recorded the intro and outro probably in July or August of 2022, and I am now doing the voiceover in November of 2022. So I'm a little all over the place. I haven't posted anything since September or August, which is when school started, because I've just been incredibly busy with school. I moved out, so I'm living out of my house, which is a lot more work than before, and so I've been really busy. I've had a lot of things happening in my life, so that's why it's taken me so long to post this. I am hoping it gets posted in November, but we'll see when this actually gets posted. But yeah, let's get into the actual bullet journaling. So this first page, that's not even really a page, it's just the inside cover of the journal. I just wrote bullet journal number 3 because this is the third bullet journal that I've had. I got my first one as a gift in 2020, then I bought a second one last summer, and then now I've bought this third one. I'm hoping to make this one last a full year and a half, which I talked about, I think, in my intro, but yeah, which I think is going to happen because I've really been slacking on bullet journaling, and so I'm not using up as many pages as I normally do. Anyway, so yeah, I just wrote bullet journal number 3, and I added a little design in the corners, and then on the other side, I wrote my name all nice and fancy, where it says who the journal belongs to, and then I put that I started it in June 2022, and then when I finished the journal, what month of what year I finished it. I'm hoping it's December 2023, but we shall see. Next page is my handy dandy color test page. I've had one of these in all 3 of my journals so far, and I love it. So every time I'm trying to decide what colors to use for my monthly spread, or I just kind of forget what a color of a marker looks like, I just add a little tick on that page of that color, and then it's just a place for me to put all my little scrap scribbles when I'm trying to figure out what my marker looks like, and I love putting it. I never use up the whole page, but I always love putting one in. Then I had my key, which I pretty much copied verbatim from my last bullet journal because I've kind of got it down exactly what I want in my key and exactly how I want everything to look. So I made 2 sections, a monthly section and a daily section. Since the symbols I use are a little bit different depending on if I'm writing in my calendar or if I'm writing in my weekly spreads, that's why I like to have 2 different sections just to keep everything straighter. I also added a small section that says themes, and that's where I write down all the colors that I use in my bullet journal, and then I kind of just tick off how many times I've used that color for a monthly spread. Next is the grid spacing guide, which I think I talked about in my last bullet journal setup video. I think I talked about this, but I was inspired by Amanda Rach Lee, who I think was inspired by somebody else, but I think it's just an awesome idea, and I use this all the time. I just write out all the spaces horizontally and all the spaces vertically so that I know how many there are, and then I can do a little bit of dividing when I'm trying to split the page up into different things. Then I also wrote all the spreads that I use a lot, just what their dimensions are. So like my calendar, my favorite weekly spread I like to do, and other things like that, my habit trackers. I just wrote out how many spaces those usually take up so that it's easier for me when I'm doing those every month and I don't have to think about dividing the page every single time. I just know exactly how many spaces it needs. This ended up being probably one of the longest spreads, like took the most time when I was making it, because I had to think, okay, what's a spread that I use all the time? And the page is actually a lot more full than I expected it would be. Like, I thought I would have to make the whole grid spacing guide title a lot. I thought I would have to really zhuzh it up to take up more space, that this page wouldn't look so bland, but I ended up using pretty much the whole page. My 2022 part 2 page, just to show that we're moving away from the setup spreads kind of, or the spreads that just pertain to my bullet journal, and now we're moving on to like the yearly things, so like the monthly spreads, and like maybe if there's a spread that like I would do new every year, that kind of thing. Like, we're moving away from just the like actual functional spreads of my bullet journal, and I'm moving on to the stuff that has to pertain with 2022 specifically. I pretty much copied my original 2022 cover page that I did in my last bullet journal. I did make a video on the setup of that, so go watch it if you want to see how I set up for 2022, but I pretty much just copied that title page exactly because I liked the theme, and obviously I'm not going to change the theme of the year halfway through the year, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I still just went with those blue and purple tiger stripes. And I feel like the second time around they look a lot more like tiger stripes and less like zebra stripes, which was frustrating me last time. And then my last page of this setup is my quote page. I didn't really have any ideas for what to do on this last page, so I thought, why not just add a quote page? This quote I use says, "If the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never change the goal." I never write where these quotes come from. I usually just find them on Google or on Pinterest somewhere, so I have no idea who actually wrote this or anything about it. I feel like this quote was just a good way to motivate myself to never give up on something that I really want to do. If I find something's not working for me, I just need to find a different way to do it and just not to give up, kind of. I don't know. I just thought it was pretty motivational and I liked it. And you can actually see on the other side of the page my June spread, which I tried to make kind of like a picnic blanket. I was going to add a picnic basket, but then I decided against it. My June spread is only 3 pages long because, as I said, I bought this journal in May, but I maybe filmed this in June. I could have even filmed this drawing part in July. I'm really disorganized with my bullet journal recently. It is now time for the final flip through. I'm pretty happy with how this setup went. I wish it hadn't taken me so long to film the video for it and get it edited and uploaded, but that's university life. So I liked this spread and I'm loving the new bullet journal and the color of it. So that was my setup of my brand new bullet journal. I am obsessed with the color. I bought it at Chapters, which is indigo, I guess now. It's very pretty. My one gripe with it is that the pages are a little thin, so you can kind of see stuff through it, which bothers me a little bit, but it was not super expensive, so it'll last me hopefully more than a year, a year and a half is what I'm hoping for, because I hate starting the last 2 bullet journals. I've started in the middle of the year. I want to start my next one in January, so hopefully I can make this one last until the next January 2024. We'll see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!